Hello everyone, I'm getting some more requests on how to do the world position offset for this kind of thing, so I'll just go over some basics for the world position offset and some other things as well probably. I'm just gonna go with the flow, I didn't think this through, so bear with me. Alright, so this is basically just a straight mesh, it's 50 meters long, and that is about it. Through this material, as you can see from this distance, it's bendy and shaky. I'm gonna make a new material real quick. Bendy, twisty. Alright. So about the mesh, some people were saying that might be vertex colors. No. No vertex colors at all. And I'll show you what I did soon. Okay, let's grab this mesh over here. And so we can view it over here. And set some things up real quick. So first, obviously, I kind of want to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to grab a texture coordinate node. Oops, there we go. And do a component mask. There. And this is basically, you can highlight the red, green, or blue channel of something. And a UV is basically red and blue channel, so I only want to see the red channel. Plug that into the base color for now. And as you can see, there's already a slight fade going on. That way I can see some stuff. Now, if I wanted to be smart, I actually do the blue channel, the green channel. Now the white stuff should be at the right stuff. Well, let's do Emissive for now so you can actually see what's going on. There. You can instantly see the alignment as well. It's horizontally aligned. At the moment it's showing vertically. If we change that to the red channel, it goes from black to white. Well, let's use this for now, I guess. Now, how are we going to make this bendy? Now, this is where we look into the mesh. So that's the part where I want to be black, so this doesn't get influenced by anything. I'm actually just going to copy this one and one minus it. Preview, and as you can see over here, it's black. Now we can try and multiply that like this. Or let's add something, see what works better. Yeah, this should be fine. So the entrance won't be affected by the work position offset, but the end will. Now let's make sure that it doesn't get over a value of 1. So let's saturate that. Saturate is basically a clamp. So if you need it to be 0 and 1, saturate is the way to go. If I plug that into world position offset, you won't be seeing that much going on. But now if I would multiply that with a high value, let's do 1000. There you go. Now that's obviously not what we want, so let's play around with some stuff. Let's say I grab another text coordinate up until here, I guess. Remove that wire and start previewing red channel. As you see, not much is going on now, of course. If I plug in the text coordinate, you see the gradient again. If I plug in a panner, then not much should change until I change this value. And it gets really bright because the panner just keeps going on over time. So at 1 second, 2 seconds, or 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and we don't want that. We want to repeat it over and over again. And for that we can use a frac, which only uses the fraction of a value. And as you can see now, it's panning. There, and this is kind of the result that we want. Though obviously we want it the other way. So let's do a minus 2.5 for now. There, but we don't want that cutoff there. So let's try a sine and see what that does. And as you can see, that's already a much better result. Now obviously you can multiply the texture coordinate like that and you'll get a few more lines. But for now this is fine. There's also the cosine. There. Kind of the same thing. But if you multiply these, there, you also get this kind of result. With this we can do quite some fun things. So let's see. Let's make at least the end move up and down. So let's grab a few appends and add one. So first append is going to be the x-axis. This is back to front, we don't need that. And for now we don't need left and right. So that's the y-axis, but we do need up and down, which is the z-axis. Let's plug that in here and see what it does in the world position. After we stop previewing, we won't see much, of course. Why is that, you ask? Because the value is quite low. So let's multiply that with a stupid high value like 1000. And there we go. It's actually showing the sine wave or cosine wave, depending on what you want. We also made this. And if we multiply that value over here, what will happen? Well, if you multiply any value with 0 or black, it will stay black. If you multiply any value by 1 at the end, it will just be that value. So 1000 times 1 is 1000. Yeah. Multiply that. There we go. Plug that in. Stop previewing. And now we got it over here. A better indication will be if I actually minus that there, so you can see it a bit better. As you can see, this part is not moving anymore, but this is. And if you look through it over here, you'll get something like this. Wobble. Wobble. Now it's a bit too shaky, so you can never really see the end. So we can either try to remove that, or we just don't use the cosine. We might be able to see a little bit more now. Still feels like too much. Let's try and do a UV telling of out of 5 and zoom out a little bit. There you go. There's a little bit of a hook in here, which is a bit annoying. Wonder if that's any better with the cosine, though I doubt it. It's probably because I'm multiplying some stuff over here. There, now it's more smooth, as you can see. Alright, well, it's moving up and down. What else can we do? We can do actually the same thing for another axis. So let me remove, or shall we reuse that? Shall we do? I'm cleaning up a little bit because of OCD. We can keep that and basically call it start fade or whatever. Actually, don't move begin. There. Well, for now we can remove that one. Let's do something for the y-axis as well. So we want a little bit of an offset there. And the y-axis is over there. So plug that in over here. And as you can see, things will also be moving left and right. But it's all the same. So let's do an offset over here. Since there's a frac, we can just easily add like 0.25, 0.33, whatever we want over here, and now it moves from right to left. Now obviously we want a little bit more variation than that. So let's offset the speed a little bit as well. There we go, and now it's nice and shaky. And we can randomize this value a little bit as well. Now we have something that behaves more like this. If you look into it and get something that goes like that. And it already looks quite more natural. We can add a little bit more randomizer to it. We can try a debug time sign. Lerp a value like minus O.1 to O.2 or so, and see what that does for the y-axis. As you can see now, it's behaving more erratically. That can be nice. I don't really prefer that, but let's do something a little bit less. Let's just do 0 and O.05. And now it's constantly changing between those values, like woo, woo, woo. Let's make it a little bit slower. O.2 random number. Now it's fading much slower, and that will result in a much slower, more sophisticated left and right movement, as you can see. Now for a little bit more randomness, let's also do that for the z-axis. There. And obviously also just change the values a little bit. Minus O.025 or so. And O.3 random values behind the 3. There we go. That's a little bit more random. That's nice. You could also do it exactly more on the time, so everything aligns at certain intervals, but for me the randomness is fine. Now, that's basically all the things you need to do for wobble position offset. There are some other things you could do though, so let's just quickly go over that. I'm gonna comment all this, just call it WPO or wobble position offset, and actually don't move beginning. I want to copy that and remove that. What is a better way to actually showcase this real quick? I'm gonna grab a lot of the z-axis movement there, and the two appends with the value 0, and quickly set it up again. There. I forgot to, well, we don't really need the debug time sign, we don't need the add. Okay, move that down a little bit. And preview this for a second. As you can see, it's only moving the blue channels or the z-axis up and down. But what if we use a vertex normal world space? And we might not even need all these values over here. So let's just do it without the appends first. There. We're going to multiply those two values. Multiply that with a much higher value. So let's say 50. Maybe we need even more. And see what happens if we stop previewing. And as you can see, we have now more like a wobble wobble. It's breaking here because the vertices of the UV map are not connected here. Let's do a minus 100 for now, and you'll get something like that, which can be quite nice. If you want, you might be able to get away with adding one over here. There, so it never gets like too thin. And if you increase the texture corner knob to like 5 or so, you get something more like this. So you can play around with a lot of different things and combine them and whatever. Now obviously if you multiply that again with the don't move beginning of that mesh piece that we made before, and as you can see it will fade out that wobble at the end or at the beginning depending on how you look at it. Now what if we want to combine those? Well, that's actually quite simple. We can grab those and we can just multiply those values together. And now you'll get something like that, because we're multiplying. Now if I were to add that instead, there we go. Now we have both of them going at the same time. It looks kind of spooky-ish, maybe like a bowel movement. And if you look from the inside, it also looks kind of weird. Let's do a lower value for now with the world position, the Vertex normal world position stuff. So minus 25 maybe. There. And well, I kind of explained everything I wanted for the how to use the world position offset. Let's add a little bit of a flare at least to it. Where to start? I think I have a hexagon texture somewhere in here. I mean, I used one, though I have so many textures in this project, it's kinda insane and almost a miracle I can find anything. And I don't want to waste people's time too much. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Scroll a little bit faster, Luos. I can't find it in 3. Oh, well, actually, over here. Bam. Now I only need one channel, so I'm gonna preview those real quick. That's the hexagon I used for the other one, and this one is a bit more circly. What's the blue one? Okay, that one is a bit weird as well. Let's try this one for now. And just add a panner. Minus 0.3. There. That already looks quite trippy. You can add a texture coordinate node, of course, to do something like that. Maybe 3. That looks better. Maybe 4. Okay, 3 looks better. We don't really need UV. Oh, okay, I can live with this. Now, what shall I learn you with this? So you know how you add time to a panner that basically it starts moving, but what if you add a gradient that adds over time? What will happen then? Well, let's show you. Well, we already basically got a texture coordinate and masked the R channel. So let's copy those real quick and show you what I can do with that. I'm gonna preview that. Okay. As you can see, it's from 0 to 1. It's a gradient. What if I actually apply that to here as an add? There we go. Let's preview before I add that. Well, I already did. There, and now it's slightly rotated. If I remove that one again, it's not. There. Now if I actually add 1, it starts rotating even more. If I add 10, it's going to be all like this. Because I'm adding a gradient. How to explain this properly? Let's try on the cylinder. And then preview this. So it's a gradient from, in this case, let's make it 1 again. It's from 0 to 1. And I'm adding that gradient to a texture coordinate actually. So it's offsetting. What will be a good way to actually showcase that a little bit easier? Okay, let's grab this texture. And also another multiply there. We're going to check that green channel. As you can see, everything's just nicely aligned. If I add a texture coordinate node, there nothing changes besides the tiling. So let's remove the tiling for now. But what if I actually add a gradient to that coordinate? You get it skewed like this. Now if you also add the panner to that mix, this will happen. How cool is that? You can also grab the other channel and get a different result, as you can see here. I can even add both of them. And depending on how the UVs are of the mesh, You can do all kinds of cool things. What else can we do? Well, we don't really need a panner if we really wanted to. We could just add time to it. There. Actually, I forgot something. Did I multiply with the text? Added time. I'm multiplying that time. Ah, there's the issue. Let's see if this does any better. There we go. Another way to do that is actually set the period of the time to 1, and now it will repeat just like a frac. There. So the more you play around with UVs, the more cool stuff you can do, of course. But for now, let's do this. Obviously, I need the mesh again, so there. And have it nice and twisty. Now, what else can we do? We can do a lot more weird stuff. I'm just gonna go with the flow until I'm bored of it. Let's grab another debug time sign. And show what happens. Vroom. Vroom. Now this goes a little bit fast, of course, so we can always grab a small value, like 0.1. Now over time, it will slowly rotate the other. There you go, like that. Zoof. Now if we only want to do that on one axis, then we basically need to grab another append. And do it like this. And we don't need a value for that. And then there. That's only doing that for the rotation axis in this case, if you look at the screen, and not in the depth axis. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so let's see what else can we do. Let's see how this looks with the motion going on. There. And stop previewing. Now you have something like this. Zoom, zoom. Now it doesn't look really that dynamic or too interesting. We can always try just another thing, but it feels a little bit like it's not going fast enough, right? But we can obviously always increase the speed. That already helps, but maybe if we lower the tiling, that might help. And this is the different results you get when changing texture coordinate stuff. This actually looks quite cool. What happens if we add like a higher value to this? Okay, really trippy. Let's just do 1. And let's maybe make this 3 again. 4 maybe. 3 looks better, at least feels better. What can we do here? Even more or less? This feels slightly better. Okay. Let's keep the more smoothed out version for now. Okay. Gonna call this wobble position offset there. Now obviously you can add a multiplier here. And if you really want to, we can make it like move 10 times as bad, like whoop, or a little bit less. Let's try 0.5 for now. And there. Let's grab something that's gonna go into the black bits. I'm gonna save real quick. And then find a texture that might be having some clouds. Actually, I might know a good cloud texture without me having to go through all this, unless I'm find it over here. No, okay. The toolbox and then textures and then merged noise. There we go. Let's just grab that one. And I'll show you something really quick and really cool. Let's grab a U shift, a time, a component mask, and some magic. So this is a texture sample, and I'm actually going to show you real quick in the preview. There's a red, green, and blue channel. Might have an alpha, I don't know. No, red, green, blue, all different clouds. Now let me just blend between them with in a cool way. I'm going to plug the RGB into the texture at a time in the U shift percentage. And because it's U shifting, it's changing the channels over and over again. So if I preview this, I only show one channel, then you get something like that. Let me show you on the plane real quick. As you can see, it's slowly fast moving through the 3 layers. So if I multiply the time with a low value, like 0.324 or so, get something more like that. It's slowly moving. Okay. Now if you also apply a banner to this texture over here, 0.2, 0.1 for now, and you get something looks a little bit like that. Now let's basically 1 minus the green channel from the hexagon thing that we had, and grab Mr. Chubby again. Let's multiply it up and see the result. There. Obviously the clouds are going the wrong way, so minus and 0.2. Something like that. Now we can also add that slight rotation that we made over here. To this, so that there's a little bit more variation going on. At least it should. I should actually add another texture coordinate node there. Now we have something like this. Let's change the values here a little bit as well. Zoom, zoom. And I want these values to be a little bit lower than 0 to 1. Something like 4 maybe. Okay. Let's plug that in real quick and see the results. There we go. Now let's add some glowing, some color to it in general already. We can easily just grab a lerp because I'm lazy. And grab that. Let's just add 3 random-ish colors. What will be a nice color for this? I'm guessing either something fiery red or something blue. Let's just go for blue. A real blue, and let's go for a really dark blue for now and see what the results are. That looks kinda nice-ish. But what if we want to change a little bit of the color over the length of it? Well, remember this one? Let's use that and another U shift. I love my U shifts, really. So the texture, or actually anything color, goes into texture. We can preview that. Nothing changes. Now if I actually get a debug time sign and apply it to a U shift, you already can see that the colors are changing over here. But if I just add a gradient there, look at something like this. Now I don't want it to go that far as it use the whole rainbow. It can be really cool though. Especially if you increase the movement speed a little bit more. But I think this is fine. We can maybe make it a little bit faster. There. And we could add a time here as well if we wanted to, like add and then a time. Oh, not a texture coordinate, texture sample. There. You'll get this trippy stuff. Rainbow Road, alright? Well, we don't want Rainbow Road. So let's grab a lerp and do only a small value like minus -0.1 for now and 0.1. And plug that in. Then we'll get something like this. I don't want the time anymore, so remove that. And now the end is a bit more purple and the beginning is a little more turquoise. There you go. Now, and if you also grab this same thing and multiply that with a stupid high value, 200 for now, I guess, and multiply that. You get something like this, but obviously we want a little bit more, just a bit more sophisticated. Now, I wonder what the best way to do that will be. You can actually offset the texture coordinate if you wanted to. So maybe let's do that. I mean, why do math when we can be lazy, right? Actually, this part is for the color change, that's fine. Okay, grab those and plug those in. And then we can actually subtract it as well, but out of 5. There, as you can see, now you can see where it's the emissiveness starts. Though I don't really like that it's this hard edge. So let's change that a little bit. And instead of adding, let's do minus out of 5, I guess. Might need a little bit more. Minus 1. Minus 0.75, I guess. I forgot to add the sign, obviously. Sign. There. Probably because of the high value. Let's just set it to 1 for now. There. And I'll need a saturate so it doesn't loop. There. At least it shouldn't loop if I get the right value. My math is off and my brain is getting tired at the moment. Okay, mask R, that should be fine. So let's just that should be a little bit better. Maybe 0.75. That seems okay. I actually don't need a sign. You can put it in saturate, make sure that nothing goes below 0 or above 1. Multiply that value, quite high, that's kind of a shame. Makes sense that it does that. You can actually change that a little bit by setting this to 0.5, though we need to offset that again. Get a little better fade over here, as you can see. So if I do 0.125 and we find the edge, which is out of view at the moment. So 1. Where are you? It is taking long enough. 0.995 all the way over here. A little bit more. Oh no, not that one. A little bit more even. Let's say 875. Maybe that's enough. As long as we can see it sometimes moving, should be fine. Viewing that. Obviously, we want we can add that actually. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna be lazy again. I think. No, be fine. Let's just add that laziness there. And plug that all the way over here. That would be nice if we didn't actually have a floor. Why did the floor suddenly appear? Preview scene, show floor. No, there. We might want it to be a little bit longer still. Oh, the 2.5. And then I need to preview it sadly again. Oh, oh. There, that might be better. Okay, we can't really see the end unless there's like this miracle moment. It should be fine. There might be miracle moments. I'm gonna make it this a little bit more wobbly still. There. Clean it up a little bit before we go to the next phase. Doesn't need to be super cleaned up, but at least enough to feel a bit more clean. Now we still have this part as well over here. So let's multiply the new stuff with the old stuff and we'll get this there. And let's do one more thing. Select upstream nodes, there we go. And we're gonna need this part over here. Okay, enough space, I guess. There. Now let's grab another generic texture coordinate node again. And we're gonna make it pen. It's basically already things that we set up, so I'm not gonna go over too much. Another component mask. There, and I'm gonna only get a fraction of those values again, so there we go. Gonna set the spanner a little bit quick, maybe 1. Oh, there. It feels about right for now. Let's grab a sign. And there, that feels a little bit too fast. So maybe auto 5. I can live with that. And multiply that with this, so we get this effect over here. Now let's multiply that with a higher value, like 20 or so. And add that at the end. Mhm. It does feel a bit more sophisticated if it's like 3. Okay. Now, what if we actually want to loop it once every 3 times? Now we can subtract these values that are actually going over the frac. So, how to explain this? Time just keeps going. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's subtract 2. And maybe get 3. How to explain this? I know what it does, but explaining it's sometimes different. Let's see. I need a time for that actually. Time. And after every 3 seconds it will restart itself. There. Does that work? I need to subtract it too. No, because I get the frag, of course. Brain. Let me think real quick. I don't know anymore. It's fine. This looks good anyway. I'm getting tired, that's why. Okay, let's ignore all these blah 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 blah, so I can just move that over here again. For now. Actually, I might want to add the frag, just in case. Not that it's really needed now, but meh. What else can we do? I want to add a little bit more depth to the clouds. So let's get a bump offset. There, we need these coordinates over here. There we go. Now we need some height as well. We can use another noise texture, basically. Let's just grab the same one. Blurb that between, actually, can use any value there, right? Okay, let's get another, that U shift in the time combo again, like this. Okay. And convert that to a -10 to -5 or so. And then put that into the height. Now the cloud should feel a little bit further away. And they also feel a little bit layered now, which is nice. Okay. A little bit of a cleanup. There. There. Select everything upstream. There. Let's change the time a little bit so it isn't exactly the same as everything else. So something like that or so. Okay. Let's add some stars to end the whole thing with. I wonder if I actually have a good star texture in here. I have a few, I'm not sure if they are really... That's actually a particle system, I didn't want a particle system. Not sure why there are 3 different ones. Okay, well, we can use that, I guess. Real quickly. There. We're also gonna grab all of this because we don't want to recreate everything from scratch if we can avoid it. There, we're gonna plug that into the UVs and preview that real quick. And that already looks quite cool. There, it's also rotating and twisting a little bit. So what else do we need? Well, I think that's basically all we need. We can add some color. So multiply the red, see what it does. Oh, there. And we can actually lure between two colors. That can also be cool. So stars are, it's all generally a whole blue ordeal. So you might not want to keep those colors quite close to that, but we'll see. Now I'm just gonna grab a yellow because I'm weird, and let's add a red one over here. Well, orangey red. Preview that, not much change, but if I multiply that back again with this, just have a slight variation of color around the edges, whatever, it should be fine. And we're gonna add that in after this multiply, as we're multiplying all these values. Back to the add, and let's preview over here first. As you can see, there's a little bit of stars going on. Might not seeing them that well. We might actually want to multiply them. Okay. You go over here. Go there, there, there. Now the stars are actually not interfering with that white line, black and white line actually. We want them to be more visible, so let's just multiply with a high value for now. 10, 20, 100. And we get a little bit more spacey effect there. And the yellow actually works in this case quite well. We want to add a little bit of offset compared to the other texture though, just in case, just for some variation. And even just small value changes can go a long way. So let's do -20 to -5. It might be a bit too much, as you can see. -5 to -1 maybe? Yeah, that makes them look a little bit closer than the clouds actually. That looks okay. Another few value changes, so 311 or so. -0.1 here. And also change the banner value here, so 2 and -2, 8. There. Now you can opt to not use that emissive part over here. Where were we? It's the cloud part. So if you don't like this part, you can always circumvent it there. Let's see what the result is. It also has something nice, but in my opinion, the occasional white glow actually adds something to it. And I could keep going on and on and on, but I think this kind of shows a neat result. And now you'll know a little bit more about wobble, position, offset, and just some weird combinations of all kinds of stuff. But this one is actually a little bit more expensive than the other one I made. We can optimize it a little bit by going to unlit. We only need the emissive color. That already cuts out quite a bit. We don't need tangent normal space. Everything's fully rough though. It's unlit. Doesn't matter that much. Okay, anything better than this? I don't think I can. Besides the texture samples, there aren't that many used though. So I can set this one to wrap. I can set this. There's another one right there to wrap. Oh, another one over here. Wrap. And I'm not using any textures over here, so. Okay, now it's about the same instruction count as the other one, though the other one uses a lot more texture samples. As you can see, 10. I can probably reduce that quite a bit. Texture samples. Can I not select them all? There we go. So basically, if you press Ctrl F, you can just go over all the texture samples, and it should select them all. If I'm correct. Doesn't seem to wanting to work like that. Well, I can easily go to at least do this now. Oh, wrap, next one, wrap. I thought there wasn't a way to select them all, but it's late. A few more. Normally I set this straight away, but when I am just goofing off, I tend to not do that. But just to show you the difference in texture count, which was 10 before. Two more, one more, there. Texture samples, 1 all of a sudden, because it's now combining them under the hood a little bit. Not that simple to explain, at least not for me. Okay, so that was Tubi, and this is the other Tubi that we made just now. And doesn't use that many interesting textures. I might just give it away actually, we'll see. I'll clean it up a little bit more and call it a day real quick. There. Doesn't need to be perfect. Nope. Needs to be a little bit more perfect than that. Upstream nodes. There. I'm gonna stars. Select upstream. And this is clouds. And this is basically the hexagon grid thingy. Emissive line. There. Just clean it up a little bit more because I have quite severe OCD. This can be handy, but also quite frustrating. There, now you can go over here like that, and then select all this and go down a little bit. Okay, good enough for now. There. And that should be it for the whole tutorial video-ish kind of thing. That lasted me almost an hour. Didn't expect it to be that long. But, well, I had fun. I like goofing off, so hopefully you learned something, and I'll add a download in the description, I guess. It should be 4.22, so anybody can have access. So yeah, that's it. Take care.